What's up, everybody? I'm Derek, this is Rockin' E Truck, and this is part 2 of my nearly 5,000 mile 11 National Park road trip from California to Connecticut. Now, as a recap from the previous video, I started in Monterey, California, camped in Joshua Tree National Park overnight on night 1. I drove from Joshua Tree to the Grand Canyon, camped there overnight. From there, I went from the Grand Canyon to Petrified Forest National Park in eastern Arizona, and then drove my way down to Tombstone, and that is where part 1 ended. So part 2 is going to pick up from Tombstone and make my way to Carlsbad, New Mexico, where I'm going to see Carlsbad Caverns National Park. Now, on the way, I am going to hit White Sands, New Mexico, and I might try to backtrack to Saguaro National Park, both of which are on my list because I am trying to hit as many national parks as I can on this trip. So without any further ado, let's get back on the road, and I'm going to start with a recap of what I did in Tombstone, Arizona. Alright, what's up, everybody? I went dark for 2 days because it got dark. So I got into Tombstone at about 10:30 2 nights ago. Called ahead and booked a hotel room, so I just kind of pulled in, checked in, and then hit the hay because I was exhausted. It was a long day of driving. Not planning to do that again anytime soon. 10 hours or 9 hours or whatever it was of driving was pretty miserable. And really the only thing that made it bad was the fact that it was 6 hours starting at 4 p.m. So it's pretty rough, pretty late. But I got into Tombstone, Arizona, slept, and then I woke up the next morning thinking I was going to just run into town, see all the things, and then hit the road after that. Well, I found out very quickly that there is, even though there's only 6 blocks worth of 2 streets to see, there are so many things, and that's an under-exaggeration, but there are so many things to see in Tombstone that it's incredible. Another thing, the town doesn't open until anywhere between 9 and 11 o'clock. And I got in at 8:30, and there were only a couple things open even at the time. I'm gonna come in here and park on 4th Street. Tombstone itself is the stereotypical Wild West town, and there is absolutely so much to see. It's incredible. So you can walk up and down the boardwalk, which I did pretty quick that first morning, and then I realized that nothing's really open until like 10, 9, 10, 11. It depends on when the owners of the shops want to open things up. So there's a couple of old silver mines that you can go tour, and I stopped at the Good Enough Mine Tours company and found them to be absolutely phenomenal, very professional, very good at their tour job. I'm just gonna spin around here and park. Taking this trailer everywhere makes it kind of tough. There's bikers everywhere, and there must be some sort of biker gang convention, or maybe a local bike club that is just having a blast here in Tombstone. Anyway, I went and saw the Good Enough Mining Company, chatted with those guys for about half an hour, got some water, and then I went and toured the Good Enough mine. Very nice little mine tour, pretty easy to walk through, really cool to see. They have active silver ore veins and a lot of different stuff down there. Then I went back to the hotel, dropped my truck, and made sure that I had a room for last night because I decided that there was too much to see, and if I were going to try to see everything and then get on the road, it'd be 10 or 11 p.m. by the time I got into White Sands, New Mexico. So I stayed here for another night and just took the day to explore Tombstone. So I ate lunch at Big Nose Kate's Saloon, which was really cool. They had live music, old dudes singing some old country songs, which was great. And then walked up and down the boardwalk again, went through almost all of the shops, and bought a new shirt for future rodeos, and I plan to get a selfie in one of my cowboy hats on the main drag. I hopped on the Good Enough Mining trolley tour, which was pretty nice. Took us around town, got to see most of the sights, and get a little bit of history of the town, which was pretty cool. And then watched a recreation of the OK Corral shootout, which was great, and finished the night with a ghost tour in the Birdcage Theater, which was really interesting, very, very fun, very different experience from kind of the normal museum tour and stuff. We actually had cat balls and REM pods and EMF readers and all sorts of stuff, so that was really cool. Now I'm I've headed into town. It was like a 2-minute drive from my hotel, and I've just parked on the street. I'm gonna go get breakfast at either the Longhorn Restaurant or the OK Cafe, and then I'm gonna do a quick run through of the old courthouse here in Tombstone, because it's its own kind of walk-through museum, and it's supposedly one of the best things to see here. So I didn't get a chance to do it yesterday because they closed at 3 and I didn't plan ahead for it. So I'm gonna do it today, and then I'm gonna get on the road to White Sands, New Mexico. So let's go. So I'm driving through Saguaro National Park right now, and it is otherworldly. Absolutely incredible. From my understanding, this part of Arizona, right around Tucson, is the only place in the world where the saguaro cactus grows, and they're all over the place. It's a literal forest of saguaro cactuses. They're beautiful. So this is the morning of day 5, I think, of my trip, and it's absolutely incredible out here. Definitely worth backtracking. It's about a 40 minutes out of my way back toward Tucson because I'm heading to White Sands, New Mexico next, and this was absolutely worth the trip. I went to the east portion of the Saguaro National Park. There's an east and a west split by Tucson itself, and the west would have been another hour beyond this out of my way. I've heard that there's more cacti out in the west side, but this was more convenient and easier to get to, so I decided to go to the east side instead. But it's absolutely beautiful in a very rugged kind of Wild West way. I've been wearing my cowboy hat every time I get out of the truck to take a picture because one, it's 91 degrees Fahrenheit outside and the sun is beating down, so I'm trying to keep the sun off my scalp and off my face and the back of my neck and stuff, and the cowboy hat's the best way to do it. But there's some absolutely beautiful cacti out here, a lot of kind of low ground cacti, and then the saguaro around them. Some interesting, really interesting trees called ocotillo or ocotillo, depending on who you ask, that are a very weird spindly spray flowering tree native to Arizona that are fascinating and really interesting to look at as well. I haven't seen any crazy wildlife yet. I've been hoping I could find a rattlesnake or a scorpion or something, or maybe a Gila monster. So far, it's right at noon. The sun is right overhead, so nothing probably wants to be out right now, wildlife-wise. The visitor center said they did see a coyote right outside the visitor center, and then it noticed people talking and ran off. But apparently a large coyote, so that's kind of interesting. But I am finishing the loop. It's a one-way loop through the eastern portion of the park, and I'm finishing up the loop, and then I'm grabbing lunch on the way to White Sands, New Mexico. So I'm going to get back on the road, and we're going to get to White Sands here in a little bit. Now, I did have some experiences in the Birdcage Hotel, and I am going to recount those experiences in a different video. I'll put a link up here because it's a long enough story from the hour-and-a-half tour that I was able to do that I want to kind of devote its own video to it. So check out that link once I post that video, and let's get back to the trip. Just got to White Sands National Park. I drove into the park with about an hour left before the park actually closes, and got some pictures of the dunes. Absolutely beautiful out here. The white sand is absolutely incredible. Obviously, that's why it's a national park. The visitor center closed a couple hours ago, so I'm way too late for that. So I'll have to hit the visitor center in the morning. I'm gonna go try to find a campsite, not in the park, because there's no camping allowed here. Park closes at 8. I also crossed a time zone. So when I thought I was getting in before 6 o'clock, turns out it is now 7 o'clock. So I need to go find a campsite and hopefully find a spot to lay my head tonight. So more updates in the morning. I'm either gonna come back and try to do something early morning in White Sands itself. I'm gonna hit the visitor center when they open, and then I'm gonna see if I want to drive all the way back out here to see more of the sands, or just hit the road for Carlsbad Caverns, just a couple hours east of here, and then on to Texas. And I got to figure out where I'm going to stay in the first leg of my trip through Texas, because it is too wide to travel in a day, at least comfortably. So more to come, but first, finding a campsite and cooking some food. So we'll see you in a little bit.
I very seriously could not make do without this fan tonight. It is very warm, almost uncomfortably so. So this fan is going to be getting powered all night long.
The sands are so white, they glare so much that's what's affecting the camera quality right now. That's crazy. So it's the next morning. I am back in White Sands. The visitor center doesn't open until 9, so I'm just driving through the park right now, deeper into the park than I was yet last night. And I'm just gonna, there's, I guess, a loop trail or a loop drive out here at the end of the road, which I don't think I have found yet. But I'm out here almost to the point where there's no vegetation, and it's just white sand, which is gorgeous. So one of these, I'm gonna pull off here at this little picnic site, actually, and go marching around the sand before the visitor center opens. I might break out the camp stove and make some eggs and have some breakfast, but we'll see. Got to get some cool pictures in here, though. I am just after sunrise, and the sun's up behind me, and it looks incredible. I took a picture right as I got into the park of the sun rising, but it's super cloudy out. I had an absolutely awesome dry lightning storm just out, like I could watch it out the back of my canopy. So pretty sweet, super cool. This place is absolutely otherworldly, and it's gorgeous. So very awesome. But I'm going to take a little bit of time here, look around, see the sand, hit the visitor center, and then we'll get back on the road to Carlsbad Caverns here in just a little bit. So we'll see you later. Pardon the wind noise. Wow. I'm just casually 800 feet underground in Carlsbad Cavern. Pretty cool. Well, this doesn't look very good. I'm heading back to Carlsbad, New Mexico, the city, because my plans to head down to Big Bend in Texas were blocked by a severe thunderstorm warning, and it turns out Carlsbad might be just as bad. No pun intended. So this could be an interesting day or two. Sounds like the mornings are the best time to travel, so I might just try to get as far across Texas as I can tomorrow morning, just driving east from Carlsbad, and skip Big Bend and the Alamo altogether, which sucks, but I'd rather not take a fist-sized piece of hail to the face while I'm trying to sleep with a canopy in the back, so wish me luck. Fingers crossed. Okay, so I ended up staying in Carlsbad, New Mexico, because half of New Mexico and most of West Texas is under severe thunderstorm warnings. So I ended up just deciding to buckle down, get a hotel room, flash of lightning there, get a hotel room here in Carlsbad, and just kind of hang tight for the night. And then I'm going to scrap my idea to go to Big Bend, because I do have a time frame to get to Tennessee. So I'm probably just going to end up driving either straight to San Antonio or Austin tomorrow morning. Hopefully I'll avoid the thunderstorms in the morning and get through the kind of thunderstorm corridor that seems to be lit up through most of West Texas. I still want to try to hit the Alamo before I go on to Arkansas and the Hot Springs National Park. So anyway, I'm here at a hotel in Carlsbad, and I'm just gonna spend the night here. So seems like the storm's kind of moving on to the east already, but I've already got the room, so I'm just gonna keep it for the night. So wish me luck in the morning. All right, so it's the next morning. Thanks to all the thunderstorms and everything going on last night, the potential hail, the flooding hazards, etc., I decided to stay in Carlsbad, New Mexico overnight because I didn't want to try and test my luck with fist-sized hail and tornadoes going through West Texas. I spent the night at the hotel, and I'm about to get on the road. I'm just driving out of Carlsbad right now, but I figured I would recap Carlsbad Caverns because I got so thrown off by the thunderstorm stuff last night that I kind of forgot to talk about it. So Carlsbad Caverns was absolutely gorgeous. It is America's largest continuous single cavernous cave. Now I opted to do half of the tour per se. You can go through the natural entrance of the cave and walk down, I think it's like a mile and a half, down to the main cavern itself. And that seemed like it would have been really fun, but it would have taken me another hour or two to get down there. So I opted not to do that because they have an elevator, which goes 800 feet straight down to the big room of Carlsbad Caverns. So I decided to take the elevator down. Thankfully, my America the Beautiful pass got me in free, which was really nice, and I could have taken 3 other people with me, which is also pretty cool. But I'm, traveling alone, so that wasn't really an option for me. But I took the elevator down to the big room of Carlsbad Caverns, or just close to it. There's a lobby, there's a bathroom, and everything down 800 feet underground, which is pretty cool, and just took in the awe and majesty of the cavern itself. There's I think 1.5 mile, maybe 1.25 mile loop around the big room of the cavern, which I, walked the entirety of and took a bunch of pictures, so it's amazing. Pictures did not do the cave justice, and if you are anywhere near New Mexico, I would strongly recommend going to Carlsbad Caverns National Park. It was gorgeous, beautiful, majestic. Like, there's not enough words to describe how amazing this cavern was. Got my exercise in, got my steps in, which was also nice, and I thoroughly enjoyed the cavern. It might prove to be my favorite national park of this trip, even beating out the Grand Canyon. For the Grand Canyon, that would probably be mostly due to the limited exposure I got to the Grand Canyon itself. I just did find that one little location. I only hit that one little overlook at the Grand Canyon while I was there, so that might skew my opinions, so to speak, toward Carlsbad, because I spent nearly 2 hours just wandering around the cave, taking pictures and enjoying the sights. But it was directly exiting the cave that I found out that all of the thunderstorms and everything were going crazy in the area, and that I needed to hunker down and stay put. Now that is going to do it for today's portion of the California to Connecticut road trip. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please drop a like, leave a comment, hit subscribe, ring that notification bell. If you want to support me and the channel further, please consider becoming an honorary striker on my Patreon. Link is in the description below the video. And as always, keep on rocking.